Hi, this is Dave DeVries, and you're listening to the Marvel Card Collector Podcast. Aren't you lucky?
Hello everybody, my name is Ian Taylor and welcome to the Marvel Card Collectors Podcast, brought to you by the Marvel Cards Fan Collective, an awesome community of card collectors and creators. You can find our two groups on Facebook, details of which are at the end of this podcast, so come check us out. With me as always is my co-pilot in all things Marvel cards. One ring to rule them all, one ring to find them, one ring to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them. It's Norrin Rad.
That was actually a really good Gandalf. That wasn't bad. Like if I closed my eyes, I can still see your half of your head, but the beard grows in, so I kind of see it.
I wasn't going for Gandalf, but thank you.
Wow, that's a horrible insult now, and I feel terrible.
No, that's
sorry.
quite all right. I guess I'm called Ian, and he's called Ian, and everyone deserves a little bit of Ian in them, and we'll move on from that.
Wow. I can't take you anywhere.
And it started already. I apologise to our guest who is waiting in the wings. Well, let's get on with it. Let's talk to our guest.
I'm ready. I'm excited.
We've had our chit chat off air.
Yeah.
You know, no one cares what kind of week we've had, so let's just carry on with it. They're just here for the entertainment. They're like our Gladiator, our audience is like, are you not entertained? You know, they just want the sport. They just want the sport. Speaking of sport,
wow,
nice little segue there. Nice little segue.
I'm so impressed. You are on fire.
I am on fire. No, literally.
Our
guest this week, sir, introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Brad Galli. I am talking to you from Detroit, Michigan in the United States here, and I am a sports TV anchor at the ABC TV affiliate here in Detroit, and I am a proud Marvel card collector, and I have watched you guys. Now this is a long introduction, but that's who I can get into that in a little bit. But I love what you guys do. I love what you do for the hobby, and I actually just found your Facebook group. I've been following you on Twitter, and I found the Facebook group, and I said, holy smokes, what have I been missing out on?
Well, there's a rabbit hole, sir. There's a rabbit hole. We'll see you in 2 years when you're bankrupt.
It gets deep, bro. Yeah. It's going to be bad. So excited to have you here, though. That's so much fun, man. So tell us a little bit about what you collect.
I'm all into the movie cards. So I love the artwork and the artist renderings of so many different heroes throughout the years. And, you know, when we go to Comic-Cons and stuff locally and beyond, I'm just in awe of it. I come from a family of artists, but like so many people around the world, I love the movies. And that's what I really got into when they first kind of came out. I think maybe it was the first Avengers movie where I said, wow, they have costume relic cards. And as a sports card collector growing up, I said, well, if they're doing this for movies, I got to get a piece of that. And then you're talking about rabbit holes, man. I mean, that was just, I remember I was working a high school football game, a prep high school football game, and I was checking my phone to look at eBay auctions to see if I could grab a Black Widow relic card. And I'm like, oh, I got the Iron Man. All right, I got the whole set. And I'm looking up. I'm like, as long as I don't miss a touchdown, as long as I don't miss any points being scored, I think I'll be okay. But that quickly evolved into, I got to get some autographs. And so I love this last Endgame set. I got a Tom Holland autograph in one of the boxes that I hit. Which was nuts because that was like the one card that I wanted, because in my head I'm like, I'm never going to pull a Chris Evans. So I ended up pulling a sketch card, which we can get into, but I pulled a sketch card and traded it for a Chris Evans autograph. So while I've had a lot of bad boxes, I've had some really good fortune with this Endgame stuff too.
What sketch card did you pull that was worth a Chris Evans? Wow.
You beast.
Now Ian.
Fred Ian.
Fred Ian.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, mate.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fred Ian's work is top.
That's
top
that's top tier stuff. What everybody wants now. That was a smart trade on your half, though, man. Chris Evans auto for that. That's genius.
Chris Evans, a Tom Holland, a Tiger Woods memorabilia card, and another hockey card I needed. It was a bidding war on ePack. I looked at it. I was at work, and I pulled it before I went on the air on ePack. I came back and I had 32 trade offers.
Yeah, that sounds right for Fred Ian. Yeah.
Oh, so behind me in my house here, I've got a case. Those autographs are on their way from from COMC, but I have a few autographs here on my shelf, and those will go right in there with it. Those are going to the personal collection. And I've got two kids that like watching the movies, and that'll pay for their college someday potentially, or just be passed on to them, because those two are Tom Holland and Chris Evans, man. Those are legends.
Wow. Dude, man, those are the legends. That's amazing. Wow, that's crazy.
It's the Fred Ian. I mean, what are the odds? I mean, wow. Okay, Fred's in the group. Actually, he's a lovely fella.
Super nice.
I think he's
a cool guy.
It's bizarre. He's got two profiles. Fred Ian is his artist name, but Fred Roy is what you'll see him in the group as, which is his personal profile.
I don't collect the sketch cards, but I look at that and I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, is this where I make the exception? Because it must have taken him weeks. I don't know how long it takes him on every sketch. That's not a sketch card. That's an art card. Like
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And they're just phenomenal. I mean, there's a few artists that do that kind of level of work, and not that it's any more worthy than any other artist, but people go after that big time because it does look so finished and photorealistic and fully realized. It's not a sketch, as you quite rightly say.
Beautiful piece. Yeah.
So we're pretty. I would say we made it to about 45, 46 episodes when we barely touched on MCU cards, because it's not something that we'd done ourselves. I'd never really gotten into it. I was all about the art cards, your Fleer Ultra X-Men stuff, which which is rather lovely and so thick you could use it for platforms. Really nice stuff. And then we had a fella, you probably listened to his episodes actually, Brian Bode, who's out of Rochester, New York, and he's big into his top end autos.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if you listened to his episode, but I think he's got a safety deposit box. At one point, he had about 8 Robert Downey Jr. autographs from the Iron Man set, and they're like.
Well, because Rittenhouse was selling them, right? He said like early on, was it $200 a piece on the website?
Those are the helmet ones. Yes.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
And going for what, $4 or $5 grand a piece?
Yeah. The Stark ones, which is Robert Downey Jr.'s face. They're the higher end. They're about 4K. And I think someone in our Frank in Character Club was following the Iron Man variant, and that went on eBay. I think it ended up about 2.5. So they're creeping up.
Yeah,
they're creeping up now because he's not signed for anything else.
No. Hey, and I want to make it clear, by the way, I'm not one of those people that everyone jumps in and says, this guy only pulls great stuff. Like, I make my donations to Upper Deck in my local stores. I have had plenty of shadow box hits and those manufactured hits. Like, I'm with everybody here where the pain has definitely outweighed the joy, but we talk about the joy because it's what makes us happy. Just to make that very clear. Like,
I love that.
I mean, the manufactured hits. People are on two minds. I mean, some sets, the manufactured hits, I absolutely love. Like, there's a set, Marvel Flair, which is here somewhere. I'll get one of these out for you because they're really nice. And they did an insert. There's kind of like a patch insert, but it is literally it's the corner boxes from the comics, and they've recreated them as a little patch.
That's really nice.
So they're actually really nice. I mean, that's Cloak and Dagger number 5. And they're beautiful, but some of them, it's like, I got a, was it a Star Wars Rise of Skywalker? And it's just this most bizarre manufactured patch. And it's, it's not even relevant to the films. You don't see those in the film. And it's the most bizarre thing. So it just has no bearing whatsoever. But some of them are cooler than others. I will grant you that. Like the, was it the film cell? The film cell ones I like. Even though they're probably not on celluloid at all. I think they're all digital, these films. I've got some here. Where are we? Anyway,
so I just turned 31, and my parents know that I'm still a child, and so my dad hates supporting the hobby and what I do in the most loving way. But my mom tries to give me a box of cards for my birthday because she knows it's what I love to do. And they're sitting there watching me open every pack of a box of Endgame, right? And pack for pack, what are you gonna get? What are you gonna get? And it was the last pack. I'm like, here it is. The hit is in this last pack, and everyone's on the edge of the seat. And I got a one-shot metal card of Jerry Renner, and they're like, "Is that good?" I'm like, yeah.
Well, for about 3 days, it was probably equivalent to a Michael Keaton autograph, and then it got the value just went off the cliff. When everyone redeemed all the stuff. The film sales. I like the film sales. Where are we? Well, you know what? I'm going to turn my background off because this is not going to work. Because we are among friends here. We're not exactly putting this one up on YouTube. So there we go. It's my loft behind me. There we go. So the film cell ones are quite nice. I quite like those. They're pretty good.
They look good. It's just hard, man. It's hard when you're chasing those autos and you're chasing those high-end stuff, and the hit is, those memorabilia cards or those kind of patch cards. It's just a little hard to swallow sometimes.
Like I look at the big relics that they put in the 10th anniversary set. Those were nice.
Those were sick.
And they go for those costume cards. Actually, go for a fair amount of money. I will come back to talking about those costume cards from the eclectic collection, that's what they're called, in the 10th anniversary MCU set, and they are massive, relatively, swatches of fabric from the movie production. I'll come back to those because there's something I want to talk about in a little bit. So you tell us about, because you mentioned sports and you mentioned high school, so that's obviously clearly kind of where your background is, and you're a sports reporter. So I'm guessing sports cards were your thing.
Oh, yeah. So growing up in Detroit in the 90s, hockey was really, really big. And so just here to my right, I have a bunch of autographed photos from when I was a kid. And the Red Wings were winning the Stanley Cup, 4 times when I was young. And so all of us were huge. We would get the Fleer medal cards in 1997 when they, would put the big arm sleeves on a guy with the gun and the cannon, and you'd bring those to the playground and trade them. And then my uncle was into it, so he was trying to take me up a couple of notches. All right, here's how you get the rookie cards. And around that time was the first game used swatch that Upper Deck put in their hockey cards. And that didn't even enter my mind or stratosphere or anything like that for a few years because I was still in elementary school. But as collecting started to evolve with sports, then they started putting autographs in there. And I remember pulling a rookie card of a Red Wings rookie who was a finalist for Rookie of the Year, Henrik Zetterberg, and it disappeared from my collection. And nobody at my house cared about my collection. My brother was out of it by then. My parents, like I said, weren't into it. And it came to Christmas time, and I finally said to my parents, I said, "What happened to my Henrik Zetterberg rookie card? Like, that was one of my biggest pulls ever." And my mom said, "I sent it to one of our friends who was going to try to get it signed for you." I said, "That ruins the value." And she goes, "I thought getting his autograph would be a good thing." I'm like, it is, but it doesn't. You can get his autograph now in packs. It's different. So there was an education that I took in from people about collecting cards, but then I also had to give to people around me. And now my wife, bless her heart, listens to all of this and listen to my excitement about when I connected with you guys to get on your podcast here. And she said, "That's awesome." And she's supportive and she's got a big heart, but there are so many layers now to collecting that I just love. But yes, it started with sports. It's what I do for a living. And now we do some Upper Deck entertainment boxes every once in a while on like Facebook Live, on our work pages and everything. And we built up quite a community here in Detroit that likes to celebrate all this.
Nice. Oh, that's amazing. I love that.
So that's interesting. So, because I remember I think you mentioned somewhere on Twitter that Upper Deck had sent you a box to open. And obviously, so that's obviously a PR thing that they do.
Yes.
By doing that. So and I kind of thought that they did that, but you've kind of confirmed that they, that's the kind of thing that they do. Who knows, Norrin? Maybe we'll get something to open.
Who knows? Who knows,
YouTube
sir?
Channel. Who knows?
Well, I will be sharing this everywhere, so hopefully, and I'll.
Oh, brilliant! Thank you. Thank you. So,
it's funny. Yeah, sorry. It's funny that you said the wife thing. My wife will try to buy me something of cards, and she's like, "I just don't know what to get you," because she hears me ramble on, and she's so nice to hear me ramble on. She's like, "I'm just not how sure how rare it is. Is it that clean?" She's like checking corners to try to figure out a gift to get me, and she's like, "I'm giving up. Anything you want that's not cards, you can have it. I love you, but I'm sorry." And it's the funniest thing because it's true, right? I mean, the hobby, when you get that into it, all of a sudden you start realizing, well, no, this card needs to stay clean. I don't want it autographed because it ruins the idea for me of the card, and the tiers of insanity that it comes down to is quite a lot.
I know, it is wild, right?
It's so much fun, man.
It's interesting. My wife won't even engage on that front. So she's like, she won't even say, "Oh, I'd like to buy you something cards, but I don't know what to get you." She won't even say, she won't even go there with that. But what she I equate it to kind of like the edict that she gave me a few years ago, which is don't ever try and buy me anything like a bag or clothes. Jewelry, fine, but anything like that, it's kind of, you're stepping onto dangerous territory where 9 times out of 10 you're going to want to have kept the receipt. And I'm like, okay, I get it. So I kind of figured it's on that wavelength. So I'm always interested because if you started with sports, and interestingly, Brian, with his kind of higher end focus on MCU autos, he's got a very deep sports card background.
That's right.
Where he talks about cards that he was, acquiring and getting graded, and keeping a collection as a hand-me-down. And then his boys weren't interested in it; they were interested in Marvel, which is what started him off on that journey. So from a sports point of view, coming into Marvel cards, which is a pretty small scene compared to the vast plethora of sports cards there are across all the different pillars of American sports, what's your kind of key thing that you found surprising, or that you found was the same, or how did you relate sports cards to then coming into non-sports?
Well, they're definitely harder to find on a local level. Like brick and mortar shops are disappearing. They're starting to pop back up, right? Because the industry's booming across the board. But I'll call comic book shops in the area. I've kind of stopped now. And when I first got into it, I would assume that, okay, they're going to have, I collect Star Wars cards as well. Hey, do you guys have any Star Wars cards? Do you have any, Marvel cards? And then go, we don't know Star Wars, but we have Marvel. What kind of Marvel are you looking for? And I told you, I don't collect like the Flair or Spider-Man Ultra. I said the ones from the movies. And the amount of responses I get from people that would just go, nobody collects those. I'm like,
wow.
I'm right now, I'm telling you that I do. I'm looking for them. Like, you've got a buyer here. Or, I'll go and cover our Comic-Cons for work, because oftentimes they'll have, like Ric Flair, the wrestler, one time was at a local Comic-Con, and I went and interviewed him. He had a tie to Michigan's football program. And so I kind of weaved it all in. And then I said, great, I'll go walk around and see if anybody's selling cards. And at this whole local Comic-Con, there was one guy with a stand, and he goes, buddy, I'm not even going to be here next year. Like, these just don't sell. And I said, what are you talking about? And, the prices were crazy. So I think that's my biggest takeaway is you got to buy early. I tell my local shop that, hey, I'll buy either a few boxes or a box of this product if you can get it ahead of time. And that helps. But I mean, like right now I'm trying to look for endgame cards. No shot. Unless I'm going to go online, there's no way.
Yeah.
No, there's no way of doing it. And it's true, man. Like it's weird. So like on the other side of this, right? Like I love the MCU cards, and I can't wait for them to get the Surfer in there so I can go ham, because I know it's going to get crazy for me. I'm just going to buy everything. But like on the 90s kind of like Marvel art card front, right? I do the same thing. I'm calling everybody, hey, what's going on? People are like, yo, those don't sell. Or I get the other one where it's like, yeah, I have this stack here that's just put in a box. It's all 90s stuff, but it's all like the generic and just scratched up, not kept nice. And those cards are beautiful regardless, but they're just thrown in boxes. Mm-hmm. And it's very much an undervalued part of like cards is the whole like non-sport Marvel, especially the Marvel angle, right? Because you had the Marvel boom and now it's over, and everyone who was burned by that doesn't want to touch them anymore. It's pretty.
I didn't realize that. So it was like super hot in the 90s, and then people got burned.
Yeah, so like when you and I were kids, so like you're 31, I'm 34, so similar age. Right when you and I were growing up, you're not ancient, you're beautiful, darling. So when you and I were younger, what was going on was you got into sports. I was doing Pokemon and Marvel at the time. And what happened was they had Marvel packs and Marvel cards at malls. You remember, you could get a pack of cards walking into the dentist's office, for God's sakes, right? You could do it anywhere. And after 95, 96, right there, they overproduced and they dropped off in popularity, and all of a sudden they were gone. And that's when owners started like throwing them out, keeping it in the 99 cents bin. It just became a whole thing. But sports cards always kept consistent, because at time of sports, you were getting, like you were saying, the memorabilia cards, the jersey cards, the autograph cards. You got kind of, the inserts became more and more premium. Marvel fell out. And then when Marvel came back with 16, Marvel Masterpieces 16, all the premium things that were done in sports started to kind of like make their way into Marvel cards. And that's kind of like where we are now, like the end game stuff, those autos, the diamond relics. It's just great, like not copying, but echoing sports cards.
you got to evolve, and I think that maybe took them a while to do in the sports card industry, but it's happened across the board. It is cool to see it with this because those, like we talked about, the manufactured relics, like those exquisite cards from Endgame, the diamond ones. Those are so. I'm almost rather have some of those than some of the autographs, and not because of the diamond, just because it puts kind of sports branding, the foil, and just that extra detail. And you were talking, about the thickness of the cards. Like there's something to that extra effort, and Upper Deck I think is definitely starting to realize that more.
Yes,
absolutely. I mean, the other important thing about the 90s, of course, is Marvel themselves went bankrupt in 96. So, all of a sudden you had that whole collapse of the comic industry, and, they barely stayed around. So it was just that every year there was more stuff being produced, more comics, more, ridiculous gimmicks like hologram and foil covers and 15-issue ones, which we're kind of almost back to in some ways with modern variants of comic book covers. But I mean, the one period I will say is that Masterpieces 2016 obviously was where that kind of premium end stuff kind of really hit. They'd done it before with Premiere, which was more of a sketch based set, but there was a steady stream of product from kind of 2005 right through to about 2014 from Rittenhouse, but that was all comic art based. I think they did maybe 2 movie sets. They did the first Iron Man set, Rittenhouse. That's right. The first Iron Man movie.
That's right.
Set,
that's right.
And I think they did a Hulk set at the very beginning of their tenure. With the Marvel license.
I think they did Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. too on that first
that's
series.
Right. Yeah, they did the
that's
first
right.
Of those. That's right. And which actually I'm always quite surprised that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't as valued as the MCU stuff, because it's technically the same, even though it's gone in a very different direction over the last few years. But you've got Clark Gregg in there, you've got Jamie Alexander who played Sif. I'm just trying to think who else. Bill Paxton signed for season 1 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
There's some Peggy Carter autographs in a couple of those series too.
Wow. Okay. Yes. Haley Atwell.
She's great, by the way. Like she does such a good job, man. Wow.
I've just started following her on Instagram. She's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's what I keep hearing too.
Yeah, she's
that's
cool.
Funny.
She's worth a follow. So you is it you mentioned the Endgame? I saw a really sweet video that you sent me a link of. I think it's up on your Facebook page, where you did a box opening of Homecoming. Yeah. Was it with your little boy?
It was. Yeah, he's 3 years old, Matthew. It was Far From Home. And it was that was the box Upper Deck sent us. And just so people again don't want to punch me through the screen, we got a manufactured hit in that box. So like it's not like they don't set aside like the gem autograph and throw those to people like me. But that's what was so cool about it, because of course as I'm going through it, I'm like, all right, we're gonna pull an autograph out of here. It's gonna be sweet. Like here comes the Jake Gyllenhaal, and the manufactured Mysterio kind of like snow globe-y looking thing.
Yeah,
we had gotten one of those in a box that I bought from my local shop, and my son, every time we have family over, look at my Spider-Man card. Like he thinks that thing is the coolest thing. And he takes it out of the case because he likes how the rubbery feel of it. And so we got another one of those in this box, and he was flipping out. Like he was screaming up to my wife and daughter, "We got him!" He can't say Mysterio, like a Mysterio card. And I'm like, okay, like we did the first time, like we bought this. That's a hit for the pocket, but like, isn't that why we all got into this, right? Like those cards 100% that meant so much to me. Like whatever he gets into in life, if that's in his collection someday, that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Love that. And it's true, man. That's what happens, right? I mean, I remember being a kid and pulling my card, and like, it wasn't a card that was worth anything over the moon, but it was like, worth the world to me. Yeah, 100%. That's such a lovely story. That's awesome, man. That's great.
It did help that like a week later, we went and bought the last Far From Home box from the shop. And I had bought some hockey cards that day as well, it's like my favorite product, SP Authentic, that comes out. And I pulled out of one SP Authentic box a card that I ended up flipping and paying for everything that I got, which was great. But in the last box, I got a card of a guy that we did a story on that lived locally. We spent the whole day with him. So I got his autographed rookie card. That one's staying in the collection. I sent him a message. Dude, I just pulled one of your rookie cards. And then in the Far From Home box, I pulled a Tom Holland diamond autograph out of 25. And my wife goes, go play the lottery. So guys, I went and played the lottery and I didn't win.
No, you did not.
Well, we got the Tom Holland.
You're winning. You're winning. You've got Tom Holland's coming out.
That's hilarious.
It's like that thing with Oprah. You get a Tom Holland. You get a Tom Holland. Everyone gets a Tom Holland. Everyone gets one. So which which was your first Marvel set? Was it the Avengers one you mentioned? The first Avengers movie.
Avengers movie, yeah.
And have you done like every one since, every movie?
Yeah, pretty close to it. I tried to go get it. I know like the Doctor Strange ones, they tried like the 1-card pack thing. I did a box.
They tried to do a super premium version, didn't they? That's right.
Yeah. I didn't do too hot on the box that I did, so I didn't go much further with that. But yeah, I've done almost every set, and I'm like old school in a way where I like to get the whole set and put it in the binder, keep it away to never be opened again. And my wife wonders how many shelves do we need of binders that you're never going to open? But it's
the answer to that question is always yes.
Yeah. My uncle that got me into it, they've moved like 3 times since my wife came into the family, and she's like, don't you watch and see how many of those 90 sets move with each of their house, and that he just keeps saying he's got to do something with them, and he doesn't do anything with them, which I love him and we love them, but I'm like, yeah, I know. This is different though.
This is totally different.
So this is that first Avengers set.
Oh, nice.
That is that Avengers Assemble. Avengers Assemble. I say that because that's what the movie was called in the UK, not Avengers, which is just what you guys know it as. So, but no, it's great. I was going to part with this set, but now I've kind of gotten into my MCU a little bit. I'm kind of hooked.
Really
if
pretty
you like.
set.
It is a lovely set. It's got a lot of elements to it. There's some elements of it that are really difficult to get now, and you just simply don't see them at all on eBay. And even if you do, the Heroes Evolve part of that set, there's 60 of those, and they're really tough. You don't see many of them around. And there's some beautiful comic cover cards. Oh, yeah. We always talk about the comic cover cards and how wonderful it would be to get a collection of those together, just from all the various sets that have got them, and they're absolutely stunning. Stunning cards, really nicely produced. So yeah, no, I'm digging that. But unfortunately, these in the UK, I can usually pick up some of the earlier MCU stuff. Because it was you could get it over here. It was the distribution wasn't as strict as it is now, because Upper Deck don't have a license to distribute in other territories, and I think they're only allowed to sell it to dealers in other territories after the product's been out for a year. Well, the MCU stuff now doesn't last that long,
right?
No one's
gone soon.
It's gone. Endgame on Upper Deck has got, as we speak, I think it's down to about 15, 14 cases remaining.
Good. Get rid of them because I keep buying it.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I'm done.
Because it's 4 cards a pack, and if it's high risk, high reward. But if you don't hit, it hurts. It hurts massively. I think I maybe have done probably about 8 packs of it over the 2 months or so since it came out.
You have willpower.
Yeah. Well, no. I've also not got much money at the moment because I've been furloughed on reduced wages, so it's I haven't had the money to spend.
You have willpower.
I don't have willpower, which is why I've got quite a lot of credit card bills to pay off as well. This is my problem. But I do. We haven't talked about this on the podcast. I sent it to you on Twitter, which I know you were quite impressed with, and I haven't talked about this to anyone really because I kind of wanted to keep it for me because I knew people might want it. But I pulled an Elizabeth Olsen inscription autograph on my 3rd pack. I think it was, the one where she's written "You will."
Yeah.
And I don't have any top cast autographs at all, so I'm like, right, that one's for me. That's not going anywhere. I'm not going to tell anyone about it, although I just have. But so
it's weird because on the podcast everything eventually comes out for me and Ian. Me and Ian are like, no, I don't want any trade offers. I'm going to keep this quiet. And then we get talking. We're like, there it is. It's already out. Forget it.
That one is now out of reach of anyone being able to trade it for me. So,
can I ask a question?
Go on, hit us.
Okay, so my thought lately has been, and it kind of came up in the EPAC chat I saw, a set after this. Like, they did the 10th anniversary set. Yeah. Do you think, like Topps does annually, like 3 or 4 times, do you think that Upper Deck will dip in and do Marvel sets from the MCU and bring back some of these characters and say, hey, Chris Evans, come back and sign? Because what I see by some of the sale prices is that I think a lot of us are assuming that that's not going to happen. So people are trying to snatch up Chris Evans and some of these guys that are kind of done.
I think... I think Upper Deck will probably have pitched it to Marvel in terms of product. This is all speculation, by the way. I don't know any of this for sure, but if I were them, I certainly would have pitched it. A lot of the autographs they get on stickers. So who knows how many they've already got that they haven't actually issued and put on cards, because they might have done a deal with Chris Evans, for example, to sign 500 stickers, and they might have only used 300 of those. So they could have another 200 of his autographs sitting there that could go on any card. I mean, it could go on a card of your face, Brad. I mean, that would be brilliant, wouldn't it, to have a Chris Evans autograph with your picture?
But no, not really.
But yeah. No. As soon as I said that, I realised how silly it sounded. But we'll carry on. But we did an interview with someone up there. Was it Bubby? Kind of alluded to the fact that when they first started doing the movie sets, it was a lot easier to negotiate, because they negotiate directly with the artist, with the talent, with the actor, for them to come and sign. So I don't think that's via Marvel at all. I think that's directly with the actor and their representatives. So. And I think he alluded to the fact that Chris Hemsworth has signed for pretty much everything that Upper Deck have done. I think he's one of their most common signers, and I think the what I got from what we were told on that interview was that he was cheaper when they first started working with him than he is now. So obviously their bank goes up. They can negotiate more. So who knows? I mean, it might be that. If they do need to go back to the well on some of those guys, it's not financially viable for them to, even if the actor is willing to do it. There are some actors who've not signed. I don't think we've seen a Scarlett Johansson one. I might be wrong.
No.
And we haven't. And I was going to wait to touch on this later, but we'll touch on it now. I don't think we've had a Chadwick Boseman, which is sad. Obviously, people would have, really, if he'd signed, it would have been, even before his passing, would have been one of the hottest autographs there would have been, up there with Robert Downey Jr. So, there's some actors who simply have never. So I don't think Samuel L. Jackson has signed for an MCU set.
Not for Marvel, no.
No. I know he signed for Star Wars, because I think Brian was telling us that he'd got a Star Wars Tops on Demand set because it had a Samuel L. Jackson auto, just because he wanted the Samuel L. Jackson auto, and he sent me the set, actually. He sent it to me and said, yeah, you can have it.
Well, that's the interesting thing too, right? I mean, you Brad, you do Star Wars too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like looking at how they do with Star Wars signatures, do they, because I only do a little bit of Star Wars. I don't have that much, but those autographs, they really, like, Topps really keeps a handle on that. They have the on-demand stuff. They have their website. They do those limited, they do the living set and then Topps on demand. So they have those one-of-ones that they put up on their site, which is pretty crazy. I wouldn't doubt that Upper Deck is hopefully had the foresight to see into the future and kind of pull some of these, hold some of them back, having them on sticker. I don't know if we're going to see them on card anymore. I don't know if that's going to happen, because that doesn't seem to like carry over. I don't see many of them that are on card anymore. Is it so for you, Brad? Is that a big deal? An autograph being on card as opposed to on sticker?
Not as much as it is to other people. No, it really isn't. And if anything, to me, because as a collector, sometimes I look at it and say, well, if there's an on card on eBay for $100, or if there's a sticker for $60, I'm going to go after the sticker. Like if I just want to collect somebody that I like to collect, that's what I'll go seek out. So if it means more to some people, I get it. Like those exquisites in hockey, they put them on card. Like that's a big thing in exquisite, you're on card, and it looks really nice. And I could imagine if the exquisite diamond cards for Endgame were on card, those would be like they are, even priced higher. But no, not a huge deal for me, because I also in interviewing a lot of the athletes, I'll ask them about, signing cards, and they get shipments occasionally throughout the seasons. And I've watched some of them do the stickers, and they can blow through those things. So I get from many different perspectives why they do the stickers. It was cooler on card, obviously, when we saw that regularly. But I do understand why they've done it and how they've gone through it.
Yeah. It's interesting you touch on the sports cards there. I've recently gotten into NFL in the past year, and boy, what a rabbit hole. I know you're more on the hockey side of things. I mean, I think it's the same with hockey and basketball, but the NFL stuff is just a dizzying volume of sets per year. ranging from your smaller sets, your Don Russ, your Score, your things like that, right up to your Flawless and your what's the other? There's another top end one as well that I can't remember off the top of my head, but
National Treasures.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. And the one I settled on was unfortunately kind of slightly on the higher spectrum, because I was kind of like, this is a rabbit hole, and you can't, it's bad enough trying to own everything with Marvel. Trust me, I know. But with NFL stuff, it's like, okay, so I was either going to go after my team or go after a particular series, and I've decided to try and do a little of both. So my series is Contenders. On the NFL side of things.
Oh, those are nice looking cards.
They are beautiful looking cards, and no one won't mean anything to you, but they kind of look like they're designed to look a bit like a ticket.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And they're pretty cool. Is one of your
like
little ones about to join us on the podcast there, Brad?
Yeah, I think I'm home alone with my 3-year-old and the 2-year-old, and I'm shocked that they have watched the movie right now as long as they have, because that's usually not the thing. But they're also both trying to potty train, and my daughter's coming down the stairs screaming no for the last 20 minutes. So I don't know if you've ever had this happen during the podcast, but
you carry on.
Kids, real quick. Are you okay, Emma? Okay, good. She's okay. She's doing great.
Marvelous. Oh, well, we won't edit that out. Actually, that'll be quite a fun little interlude for people. So, it is a word from our sponsors. I can see one of them's just crossed over behind you.
Want to come say hi to our friends? You want some pirate booty for your moody? Yeah. Come here. Come tell these guys what we opened. Come here, real quick. Say hi. They're good friends of ours. Come here. What kind of cards did we open? Right here when we were sitting here opening. What cards did we open?
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Whoa. Wow.
That's so cool.
You say hi, Emma?
Hi.
All right. You need to be the big man in charge, Emma. You too.
Hi.
You want to say hi, Emma?
Hi.
You say hello?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Emma.
Okay. You go be a big brother. You be a big. I'll bring up Pirate Booty in 2 minutes. Okay.
Hi.
You want to show him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. She wants to show you her Toy Story toys. This is exactly what everybody's listening to on the podcast.
Oh, wonderful! That's brilliant.
Is that great?
Look at Woody. How cool.
Castle.
Okay. I'll be right up. Okay. Can we meet you right back upstairs? I love you guys. Thank you so much. Okay. Okay. I'll be right there.
He's chewing on a saw. He's chewing on a saw.
He's chewing.
Not a real saw.
He has good taste.
Tell listeners. Yeah. I think I should tell listeners. Brad, do you need to bounce, sir?
Probably in a minute here. Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's quite all right. Listen, well, let's do this again when you've got a bit more time, and because I haven't even started scratching on some of the stuff we were going to talk about. But listen, thanks for jumping on.
I hope this works. I mean, I hope you guys can use this.
No, it's great.
Oh, we can use this. No, this will be part one.
Carry on. We'll carry on and have a little chat once you've dropped off, and then it'll be a whole thing.
Okay, cool. Because they came down here and they came down here with the noter. So while potty training's happening, there's also potty training. The good and bad. So
hey, Brad, you carry on doing your potty training.
No worries, brother.
I get it. I'm 47 and I'm going to be starting doing it again soon for myself. All right, buddy. Thanks, Brad. Right, Brad has left us. That was fun.
Yeah. That was so much fun. We have to get him
we've got to get him back.
Show. He was so cool.
Back, but his kids are so sweet.
Oh, they're so nice.
And they are.
That broke my heart.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. I love that people can invite. I mean, I don't know if my daughter could handle a Spider-Man film, and she's 5. So I mean, it's incredible that his kids can watch them when they're 3 and 2, which is brilliant. So I was gonna talk with Brad. I was going to talk about Chadwick Boseman passing, which I kind of wanted to get it. I wanted to get his perspective on it, simply because, wow. I mean, shock. Just absolute shock. I can't imagine. Well, I can't imagine what it'd be like to have to battle that. But if you consider from what I'm reading in the reports, is that he's been dealing with it for 4 years. During that time, he filmed Black Panther, Civil War, Avengers, Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, and 21 Bridges, and worked on lots of other projects, and just didn't tell anyone. It's like,
at the end of the day, that might have been a good distraction for him. Yeah. I can only imagine how hard that was to deal. I mean, the thing that I feel for him had to be those interviews, man, like putting on a smile and having to do certain things like that, like marketing obligations or whatever the case may be. I feel for him. Honestly, that film, that was a changing point for a lot of people. And that Black Panther film, I think that Black Panther film did a lot of good. A lot of good, man. And that story, in my opinion, that's the strongest story of all the MCU films.
That's the thing. Regardless of anything else, it's a really good film. It's a brilliantly made film. It's a beautiful film. It's got an amazing story. It's brilliantly cast, and it does something culturally that is just touches on a completely underrepresented area of MCU. Pop culture generally, and just generally, just like having such a brilliant positive reaction and role model for kids is just amazing. I mean, my little girl, she'll always now she's started to go off the male superheroes. She wants to see female superheroes.
Nice.
And she's really starting to get into Black Widow because she's got red hair, so she's kind of
that's cool.
I mean, I put a photo of her holding a Jean Grey card up, when she'll come up here and she'll go, "Oh, can I have a card, Daddy?" And I'll go through my dupes because I love her, but I don't love her that much.
I have standards. Jesus Christ. I love her, but not that much.
I love her,
That's
but she's not having one of the collections. And she'll go. I'll be going through, like, I'll grab a bunch of Theatre X-Men 95, which actually for a 5-year-old, some of them are pretty full on. And I'll be going through, and she goes, "I want a lady one. I want a lady one." And I'm offering her Wolverine. I'm offering a Professor X. She's like, "No, I don't want that. I want a lady card." So it's interesting. She wants to be able to relate and have that relating to what she's seeing in what effectively is, people used to sit around and tell stories and do campfires and then read books to each other. It is, it's more than pop culture. It is culture now for a lot of people. It's mainstream. It is the stories that you sit around the campfire and tell to each other. And to see for some of these, not to touch on a lot of the stuff going on in America and around the world, but it seems particularly prevalent in America at the moment, and the divisions in American society and culture, to have that, to have that representation. I can't even begin to understand how that must have felt for people of color in America.
Or women everywhere. I mean, honestly. People make fun of it. Idiotic people do that kind of stuff. But, what they don't understand is, and, whatever. And, what they don't understand is that when you're a kid and the only stories you have about heroes and good guys and, doing something that's bigger than yourself in a real way, when you're not represented in any of those stories, that's the worst feeling in the world. It really is. A lot of the things, I'm Hispanic, mixed, Syrian, all, French, whatever mutt that I am.
Yeah.
And, having the Silver Surfer be silver, I never had to kind of like deal with that. You know what I mean? Because it was like, it's like when you like an alien character like Groot or something that doesn't have like a human form. You can put any kind of background on that character and it becomes kind of universal, right?
Yeah.
Here, hold on one second. I'll edit that out. My cat was trying to get out. When you have anything universal like that, it's easier. But when you're not able to relate to a character, it's very difficult to partake in something that you find extremely interesting and educational and inspiring. It's very hard to do that. Yeah. But I think it's great. I think it's wonderful.
As you can tell from our intro, I grew up with The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. So I feel like I've been fully represented in movies, and I know some trees that feel they have too with Guardians of the Galaxy. So, but not meaning to be too flippant about it. Trees have feelings too. one of the interesting aspects, and different people will have different takes on this, so I'm just gonna say my piece on it. I've noticed very quickly, in literally within hours after the news breaking of Chadwick's passing, the cards that have any relation to him, notably the because he's never signed, so it's the memorabilia cards being pulled off eBay and being put back on at 2, 3, 4 times the price. I've noticed that Black Panther boxes that have been selling for $50, $60, $70 are now being sold at $150, and that's gone up from $130 from yesterday. And it's just, I said on MCCW, I said I don't want anyone listing anything Black Panther related for sale, especially Chadwick Boseman related for sale, for within 7 days of his passing, because I just don't think it's, it feels a bit tawdry.
No, because then the group just becomes exploitative, and that's not what the group's about. The group's about having a good time and finding cards we need, because we're making friends across worldwide and we're able to connect with each other. Yeah. But
there were comic groups in the UK who did similar after Stan Lee passed. They had a longer window, actually, 2-week window. And of course, Stan Lee's signed stuff is everywhere. The guy wasn't shy with his signature.
Sweet. He went every way he could to. Yeah, he was a gem.
He was the most positive promotional force I've ever witnessed. And he, a lot of these groups said, right, no Stan Lee items for 2 weeks, because people were trying to, double down and hawk them and make a buck. And so, I just find it. I don't know how I feel about it, really. I get that it happens, and I get a lot of people say, well, strike while the iron's hot. Do it. I just think, well, if you can look in yourself in the mirror and sleep at night, then more power to you, brother. Go and do it. Especially in America, freedom to do what you want. And in fact, in most places, I just think it's a bit of a shitty thing to do.
I think it is. Look, here's the thing, right? I do see a lot on ComC where they advertise ComC stuff, and they're always talking about the flip of the week and all this other stuff. And they are putting that audience out there and that kind of behavior out there.
And for sports, I get it. And because you have a player 1 week who's nothing, and a player the next week
you're literally
the hottest thing ever. It literally is down to how they perform in 100%. Sports. But when you apply that to someone who's died,
I know, and they do it too. I just, for me, I don't know. It's our group. I think that we've made a lot of friends in that group, and to keep the positivity and kindness, and to get away from any negativity and saltiness and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? Having a small little limit there, I think, is nice.
Yeah, I think so. I'm just kind of only just getting into the MCU sets, as we talked about with Brad. You didn't do your impression of how were you saying Brad's name before we got on air? How were you saying it? Yeah. No, you pronounced
Brad.
It. There we go.
Was it like that?
In a rather Shakespearean way. Bradley,
you are fantastic, Brad. We love you very much, Brad.
But now you're going. Now I'm Vlad. Now you're going. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I can't keep an impression for more than 2 seconds. This is true.
That's quite all right. Whenever I try and do an Indian impression, and I mean India as in the country, not Indian as in Native American. Whenever I try and do one of those accents, I always end up in Wales within a sentence.
Within Wales?
I always end up in Welsh. It's bizarre. Well, and I know a lot of people do that.
When we saw Love Island, we were just like going off, man. Oh, you know what Love Island is?
I've heard of it.
Oh God, it's such trash. It's the reality TV. My wife loves reality TV, so we always get into this kind of stuff. Well, she watches it, and then I can't help myself.
I used to
get to it.
Yeah.
It's so bad. But yeah, well, you do that too. So like, Cockney accents and all that other kind of. You do great accents. I'm just not good at it, man, at all. I'm really not.
I can't.
So yeah.
See, I used to watch, and this is my because my wife and I have been married 11 years and together just over 12. So but before before my wife. I used to watch a lot more, so I think she's just got better taste than me. But do you remember something called Temptation Island? Where you had couples, and they went to an island full of singletons, and the singletons' goal was to make the couples like cheat on each other. And I'm like, wow. And it was brilliant. I loved it.
It was
really good. I absolutely loved it.
We've never seen it. My wife Emily keeps telling me, she's like, we should watch Temptation Island. I was like, oh God, I don't know if I want to do this, but we might actually.
No, track it down. If it's, I don't think they make it anymore. It's a long time ago, but
no, I mean that's kind of the best.
Yeah, it's kind of the earlier version of it. But no, when we were talking, we talked about the Eclectic Collection. Which is the Marvel Studios, the first 10 years set. Now, you're used to seeing cards where the swatch is that big, yeah? So that's an Iron Man card. The swatch is usually a pretty small thing, yeah?
Right.
In the Marvel Studios first 10 years, the swatches were that much of the card. They were that big.
Whoa.
So they were big. And I'll put this on the tasting notes, folks.
That's really cool.
So it is, and because of that, these actually go for. I've got two of them, and there's quite a few of them. I've got two of them. They go for this one's numbered 20, so you can tell there's at least 20 of them. That's a Yondu one. I'm taking out the top loader, so you can
Yondu's so cool.
You can see that, and the material's brilliant on them. What I love about the larger format is you get just more of a frame for the texture of the material.
Wow.
Kind of see how.
Oh, look at that. How cool is that?
Kind of a rubber ribbing to it.
I love that stuff.
And they're thick as well. But they're beautiful cards. So the Black Panther one of this, there's one particular seller in Germany who was quite quick off the mark. But there's a few others as well. And that one had been selling at about for the Black Panther costume had been selling for maybe $80-$90, I think, around that kind of area. There's one listed on eBay at $300 that was taken off and relisted at that.
Wow.
So that's the kind of thing you're seeing. I'm sure it will settle to a point. I'm sure some people who hold on to stock will just leave them there, and people will have no choice as the cheaper stock dries up. So, but we'll wait and see what happens to it. Like I said, it will settle, and people will kind of stop seeing things move because equally there are people who rush to buy during periods like this. So it wouldn't work then putting the prices up if people weren't suddenly going to buy and say, I've got, I want to own. There's a few bits of relic card of, I'd love to own the Black Panther costume relic card from Eclectic Collection, but I'm not going to pay that much for it. I might, if I'd have been better off, I'd have probably paid 90 for it, but I'd have done it in the course of getting the set. So
that's the thing. Yeah.
It is what it is. But the interesting thing, just my final kind of thing on it, is what I find interesting is that there's a lot of people speculating and listing Black Cat sketches at higher, Black Cat cards from other sets higher that aren't actually that kind of sought after. There's just and there's all sorts of interesting speculation and people thinking, well, if I can earn a few extra bucks, why not?
100%.
Hats off to you. I don't think you'll see much other than the costume cards moving that much, but it's interesting that the set overall is seeing the Black Panther set overall, which doesn't have the top signers at all. I think the top one it's got is Martin Freeman and Angela Bassett. I think are the top two that it's got. So it doesn't have. Yeah, it doesn't have Chadwick Boseman. It doesn't have. The guy who played Eric Killmonger. I can't remember his name now.
He's great. The guy that was
so good. Yes. What's his name? I've had a mental. I'm having a brain fart.
I'm the worst at names, so I was.
He was in Creed. He was brilliant in Concussion. Not Concussion.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was good.
Chronicle. Chronicle is the film. Josh Trank's film, because Josh Trank went on to do the Fantastic Four remake.
Oh yeah, he was a horrible person apparently.
But his film Chronicle about three kids and it's kind of all done on like found footage kind of stuff. His film Chronicle,
that's right.
is absolutely brilliant.
I have to check it out.
Really good film. Yes,
Michael B. Jordan.
That's it, Michael B. Jordan. Apologies, Mr. Jordan, for completely and utterly.
He's a brilliant actor, man.
Your name. He is so good. He's so good. But yeah, Chronicle is worth checking out. Josh Trank. It's got Dane DeHaan, who played Green Goblin in the Alex Garfield Spider-Man movies. Michael B. Jordan, and it's about three high school friends stumble upon a discovery that empowers them with superhuman powers, basically. And
that's the thing I haven't seen yet. Yeah,
it's really well made, really good. Anyway, we've just gone on a complete rabbit hole. But anyway, Michael B. Jordan didn't sign for Black Panther either. So, the relics are kind of...
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they didn't get many. I don't think... Was Forrest Whitaker in Black Panther? I think he was.
I think he was like the...
He was.
He's like
he was kind of the shaman guy.
He's a shaman. That's it.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
It. He didn't sign for it, I don't think. So,
wow.
So, yeah, interesting. So anyway, Chadwick Boseman, the best quote I saw that was "Rest in peace, King." No, rest in power, King. Someone said, and I thought that was such a beautiful, awesome. Beautiful phrase stuff. So rest in power, King. Yeah. Absolutely. I kind of feel we should draw a line there this week, my friend.
Well, would you like to open up some cards with me? I bought some.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, okay.
You want to?
Yeah, hit Daddy-O. Let's do this. Have you got some on e-pack? Or you got some there physically?
Can I share the screen? Yes.
You can. Yes.
My host? Yes. Haha.
No, on Skype. It doesn't matter who's host. Anyone can dive in.
Oh, look at that. Lovely.
There I am. Oh, beautiful. He's bought some Endgame. Look at this.
So I bought a box.
Yeah, it's disappeared for a minute. There we go. That's better. It's back. You bought a box.
I did.
Oh, my goodness me.
So I've been holding this for us because I know we were going to talk about MCU. So I was like, let me do something because I sold something. So I was able to get it. So
okay. Wow.
I wanted to partake. This is my first MCU box. I want to partake.
So you're about to get 9 packs, 4 cards a pack. So you're about to get 36 cards. And they're all physical.
I'm very excited for you to be on this journey.
I'm trying to think what I might like to claim dibs on if you pull it. But
yeah, we will work on that. I'm just looking something for me to have with me because I do think it'd be kind of cool to have it.
If you get an exquisite diamond, you'll love owning one of those. Okay.
I think they're beautiful. So that's really one of the big reasons why I want to do this.
Let's hope for that. And
I doubt it because I have the worst pull luck, but we will try, and I want to do it with my buddy, so we'll have some fun and get it.
Let's do it. Right. Now, are you going to rip this bit out and put it on a video, maybe on YouTube?
We can. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah?
Perfect.
All right, we'll do that so people can see it. And I'll also go through and I'll screen cap the pulls for the tasting notes. I'll regret promising to do that now, I'm sure.
All right. Wish me luck. You ready?
I'm going to do photos as we go through it, actually.
Let's do that.
How do I do that? How do I do that? Where do you do it? Hang on, let me find the button.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Okay.
Take snapshot. Right, which is... All right. Yes, okay. Right, let's take a snapshot. Brilliant. Right.
I'm going to put you right over here. Bam. Okay, here we go. First pack. Okay, so we got one of those. Very cool.
Yeah. Oh, that's a tier 3.
That's a tier 3? No way. So
you've got tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Now, tier 3, there's 10 cards. I think it's a 90 card set. So I think that's 81 or 82 to 90. You've got an Avenged the Fallen, the black ones. They're beautiful. They're used.
I'm like I got Hulk, too. Hulk's one of my favorites. Yeah. Oh, wow. Really good Captain America.
Okay. So what I'm going to do in a moment, but don't go on to the next pack yet. I'm going to take a snapshot. I'll wait until that's up screen.
Go for it.
Hang on. Wait till it's flashing. There we go. Lovely. That's
very cool.
1.
Is that my hit for the box? No, not yet.
No. That's your hit.
Okay. Okay. Let's keep going.
Okay. Pack 2 of 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
She looks great. So blue is tier 1?
Or 2.
Or 2.
So the insert, or the 4th card is usually a Captain Marvel.
Okay.
Third one is usually the hit and or you'll get either Avenged the Fallen or Avengers Assemble in that sort of space uniform that they got. So I'm about to take a screenshot before you go to the next box.
Okay.
When you're back there, so we'll take that. Lovely.
Very cool. Very cool.
I love the noise it makes.
Cool. Oh, go. Much fun.
Next box.
All right, let's keep going. All right.
Pack 3 of 9.
All right. War Machine, sick.
That's tier 1 or 2. Don't know which. That's tier 1 or 2.
Another Assemble.
An Avengers Assemble Spacesuit 1. And then a Captain Marvel.
Okay.
Lovely. I'll take a snapshot of that.
Oh, shit. Do it. I messed up.
No.
I'm the worst person. I got excited. I'll come back.
That's all right. No, I can do it from the... I can do it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, go.
All right, here we go. All right, say something lucky.
Felicia's knickers.
Done. There's the first one. Second one.
Yeah, 1 and 2.
Ooh, nice.
It's an Avenge the Fallen Iron Man. Oh, nice.
That's nice.
That's his mask.
And there's Cap.
Okay, and we'll pause at that point. Lovely. Okay. You're almost halfway through.
Oh, God. This is
the hump pack.
All right. So have we hit our hit yet?
We've hit tier 3, but tier 3 isn't a box hit.
Okay. All right.
No, right. You're about to get a hit. When they move the Avenge the Fallen to the second card, it means that the third card will be something.
All right. Here we go.
Oh, it's a one shot. So that's a manufactured, and it's got a little metal panel in it.
The metal stuff. Nice.
Yeah. So it is a manufactured one. They were worth a lot in the first 3 days because they counted towards the redemptions.
Right.
But now they're kind of, it's like a manufactured patch kind of thing. Who is it of?
Thanos. So Josh Brolin.
That's a nice one. That will be a nice.
It is nice. It's pretty.
The metal. Yeah.
It is pretty. And there's Cap. So we didn't get an auto, but let's keep going. Oh, shit.
That's okay. I got it.
Oh, it worked. Nice.
I got it. Yeah, I got it.
All right, let's see what else.
While it was flashing, but I did get it. You might still get another good one.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So there's Ant-Man.
Okay. That's
another Fallen. Nice.
Yeah. That's a nice subset of that. Oh, you got Goose.
Yeah, Goose.
Supreme Intelligence card. Goose is hilarious.
Cool.
I could PC Goose. I could quite happily PC Goose. I was very tempted. I'll take a snapshot once you move that over to the right-hand side, sir. I was very tempted to grab a plate of that card that I saw pop up on eBay.
Oh, really? That's hilarious.
And I just didn't have the money. I was like, I could seriously Rainbow Goose.
Goose. I would love that.
Well, I'm always on about Marvel Masterpieces. Right, that's a tier 1 or 2. Tier 1 or 2.
Oh, that's a great one of her.
Captain Marvel. That's an
Avengers Assemble.
Yeah. And nice. Okay, another Captain Marvel, which is always the fourth card. So take a snapshot.
All right, we got 2 more packs.
2 more packs. Oh my goodness me! I hope everyone is holding on to their nerves at home. Right, tier 1 or 2. Tier 1 or 2.
Damn, I'm just getting all of these great Fallen cards.
And that's Captain Marvel.
That's great.
Lovely. Okay. Snapshot. Lovely. Right.
All right.
Last pack.
Last pack.
You get something else decent here.
I don't think so, but I am very happy.
Well, Rabbit's
Give me
Foot.
this a shot.
Rabbit's Foot.
Now, here we go.
Keep going. You got a higher, further, faster Captain Marvel. That's not a hit. It's one of them. Chase. Okay.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, not bad.
Okay.
Let's take a look at all the items. There you go.
And let's have a look at that tier 3 that you got. Where's that? Which is just before the Iron Man. Let's have a look at that. What card number is that? Is that 87? Yeah, it's at Tony's
87.
Yeah, Tony's memorial service. Nice. Very nice.
So we got that one.
So that's pretty cool. That's the thing with Endgame is that when it hits big. When it doesn't, it's like
it hurts.
It hurts. It does a little bit because it isn't cheap. But it's fun.
No,
but you've got almost all of that Avenge the Fallen set there. Will you ship that home? Will you go for that?
I'll probably have the whole.
Nice. Yeah.
I'll probably get the whole thing. I don't know how close I am.
Yeah, will you? If you get all 10 of that, they're 10 each. So you've got 3 of the Avengers Assemble, and you've got 6 of the Avenge the Fallen. So that, Josh Brolin as Thanos. One
Pretty
shot.
cool. I wonder if these are the metal cards. Is this what it's going to look like for the 2020?
Possibly. Well, the thing is with that, the whole card's not. I think it's just that panel that's metal, because it's the same as the from the Infinity War set. There were these cards. Let me see if I can find one here. Bear with, caller. I know I've got one here. In the Infinity War set, there were cards that were. What are they called? Strip mined metals. And so it's a card, and in it, you receive a trading card with a manufactured metal piece. So it's like that, basically.
Oh, interesting.
So that little inset there with Thanos that'll be debossed, if you like, and there'll be a little window. And in there it's
weird because it's
metal. But
it's
the weird
cut
thing
like metal.
Yeah, but the weird thing, the interesting, that card's cut like rounded corners, but I don't believe the whole card is metal, unless someone can prove me wrong. But the Infinity War ones are definitely cards, and they're supposed to have metal in them.
Really
but as I touch it, it doesn't feel metal. That's the weird thing. It doesn't feel cold like metal. So I don't quite get it. I just don't quite get it. I mean, they're nice cards, but
they're nice cards.
They're nice cards. So well done.
There you
done.
go.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
That was so. There's one less box on
in the world.
E-Pack. Mate, I would have loved you to pull an Exquisite.
It would have been cool. This is why I do more eBay hunts. But I am very happy with the poster stuff. The tier 3 will be nice. I can trade that off for something, I'm sure.
The tier 3 you'll definitely be able to trade off. I will probably pick those. I'll pick up the redeemed ones, or just pick them up off eBay at some point. I'll just get them all as a set. It's just the easiest way to do it. Because getting them unredeemed, because you do get, I think you get one of the. There's an achievement card for every tier. So tier 1 is kind of about 40 cards. I think tier 2 is about 30 cards, and I think tier 3 is about 10 cards. I've got the maths on that wrong because it doesn't add up to 90. But and then for each of those achievement cards, you can trade all 3 of them, and you get the black Thanos one, I think.
That's
it's not a signed one, but it is a black. You know what? Let me share my screen, and I'll show it.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Let me find it. Start sharing. Can you see my screen, dear?
Yes, I can.
Right, let me move you over there, because I don't want you in the way. Lovely.
How dare you?
Do you feel moved, dear? Do you feel moved?
Yes, I do. I feel personally moved out of the way.
Good. So while I'm looking for this, let's think about when this episode is going to drop, because as we record it is the 30th of August, and we have, let me think. So we have a very exciting episode coming up next week.
Yes.
We've got another 2 actually really exciting artist interviews lined up for you people. And then what have we got after that? We've got this one, and then we've got some cool stuff coming up. I'm really excited.
I agree. Yeah, it's going to be really fun.
Stuff coming up. Here we go. So Avengers and Captain Marvel base set achievements, they're called. So for tier 3, you get an achievement, and it looks like, oh, come on. Here we go. So here we go. This is the one for tier 3. So you get Scarlet Witch versus Thanos.
Oh, cool.
So it's kind of, it looks like one of the basically
nice.
Still of that particular scene from Endgame where Scarlet Witch is pretty much kicking his butt. I mean, she gives him a pretty good pasting. There's Captain Marvel versus Thanos there for tier 2 achievement, and Cap versus Thanos, which is obviously Captain America versus Thanos. So, but if you get all 3 of those, you can get, and this is where it's going to take me a little bit of time, because the list of the inserts list for Endgame is absolutely ridiculous. So I've actually got to focus on it as I'm scrolling down through. Base set achievements. Then you get collection black achievements. Here we go. This is the one. and these will have been on the tasting notes for Brian Bode too. So you get Letitia Wright Achievement, which is that first black one there. It's not signed. It's just a really...
that's beautiful.
So it's that one. And you just know that that's not scanned well because it's just gorgeous. That's just...
Oh, that kills me. That's a beautiful card. So
you will get that if you complete the 10-card Avengers Assemble and Avenge the Fallen set.
Really?
So if you push on, if you can trade that tier 3 for some unredeemed ones of those, and in fact, I think I might have a couple I can throw you away, you will get that Letitia Wright card.
Okay.
And then I can't remember how you get the Josh Brolin one, which is this one.
That's gorgeous.
Which I've got as Thanos. And I think you get the Robert Downey Jr. for each of those 3 base set achievements, I think. That's the Robert Downey Jr. I don't have that one. And then the other black ones are the ones with the autographs on, which you have to collect an awful lot.
Right, that's what everybody was doing when they first got on, trying to run for those before they run out.
Exactly, and they're gone now. So it is what it is. Thank you, buddy. This has been cool.
Man. Awesome. I thought that'd be fun.
And what we will do is that, even though he's already left us, closing this episode will be our buddy. I'm trying to find you. Where are you? Let me turn my share screen off. There we go. Stop sharing. I'll never stop sharing. I always overshare, as you know. It's been gorgeous. And Brad, come back and lead us out and end our episode for us.
You were the best, Brad.
Guys, it has been awesome. The contender set is great. I've got to get back to some dad duty here, but I hope we can do this again. And I'm going to sign off the right way here. Keep collecting, everybody. Keep collecting.
Yes.
Wonderful stuff. Thanks, Brad.
Rock, Brad.
Take it easy, buddy.
Later, brother.
Oh, there you go. See you later. Thanks for listening to the Marvel Card Collectors podcast. Visuals and tasting notes for each episode can be found on our Facebook page. You can subscribe and leave us a voicemail via our home on anchor.fm/MCCP. We're also on iTunes, Spotify, and all major podcast platforms. Please take a second to subscribe, like, and review our show wherever you get your podcasts. Our podcast can be found by Googling @the MCC Pod, which will also find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. Our Facebook community is at MCCW, Marvel Card Collectors Worldwide, and MMC, Marvel Masterpieces Collectors. The great music we use is called Rocket Power by Kevin MacLeod. Thanks to the collectors, artists, and creators who support the Marvel Cards Fan Collective. We'll see you next time, and remember, it's a small hobby but a fun one. Make mine Marvel and enjoy collecting.